Hey everyone, Steve here. Before the episode, I wanted to hop on and announce a special giveaway that we are doing. As soon as we hit 700 subscribers, viewers voted, and the film that we are going to be giving away is the special edition of Sleepaway Camp from Scream Factory. And kind of exciting because it's going to be kicking off a series of giveaways that we're going to be doing at 800 subscribers, 900, and then finally 1,000, with each one getting a little bit bigger each time, which is super exciting. But we need your help. Definitely share the page, get the word out, and yeah, we got some really cool stuff planned. So we will have further details on how to enter each giveaway. And we're pretty close. I think we are at 600 and I think 68 right now. So we're getting there. So really close to the 700 mark, which is super exciting. And it's all thanks to you guys. So much love to you. And without further ado, here's Coffee Crypt.
And I told her I don't care if he is her husband. Right now.
It's time to rise from the grave, pour yourself a cup, and enjoy the Coffee Crypt.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Coffee Crypt.
Good morning. Feeling that sugar rush still from Halloween?
Huh. I can't even believe the dent that Oliver has made already and the amount of stuff. I'm like, I've had to tell him, like, you gotta stop. That's too much. You gotta Yeah, it's this week has been exhausting in general. So
it's a long, it's like all the lead up to Halloween, all the horror news, and then you get excited and then it's over.
I know. And then on to Christmas. We just skipped the other one.
Well, there's a lot of Christmas horror coming out this year, so that's exciting.
Yeah, it's I love Christmas horror is like one of my favorite things.
And Thanksgiving horror, actually, which is
we do have the Thanksgiving movie. That's true. Yeah, that's true. No, there's holiday. I like holiday themed horror in general. I think it's usually it's like so fun. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't get a lot of trick or treaters, so I just have all leftover candy. And I was just thinking about you saying Oliver has had a lot of candy. We're still I had to give a bunch away.
Yeah, I had to empty. I'm trying to remember. I had to empty his bucket. It was a normal sized bucket. I had to empty it like, God, 4 times.
Wow.
And I mean, it's not a small, but I mean, it's not giant either. But it's it's like an average size. But and then the big kids had to empty theirs, and everybody was like throwing candy in places because it was just too much. Like, and the kids that had like the like the canvas bags that are like deep and kind of, they couldn't carry them. They had room, but they were so heavy from being so like already having so much in them. They couldn't carry them. You're like, oh, it's too heavy. So we had to dump them out too. And yeah, it was very successful haul. So
the houses that you go to, how much candy do they give away per house? I guess maybe it depends on the size of the pieces, but do they like give a lot to each kid?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So some places, a lot of the places we went to did the bowl offering where they're like, or not the bowl offering, where they're like, just take as many as you want, whatever you want to do. And then some places had rules, like some people were like one piece, and which is fine. And then we went to a few houses that had bowls outside, and towards like the second half of the night, those were empty by the time we got to them. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they did. Some places had like multiple things, and the dishes were like themed or grouped by like category of candy. So it'd be like a bucket or whatever, or a dish of suckers, a dish of chocolate, a dish of fruit, and they would be like grab one of each. Like, so it kind of varied.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like kind of sort of, being able to like pick because, whatever. I mean, some people have allergies and you sort of want to be mindful of that too. And it'd be nice. Not that you have to as a house, but like it's just nice too.
Yeah.
We had like maybe 10 groups of trick or treaters. By the end of it, I just like, we were like the last 2 trick or treaters. I was like, here, just take.
You had so much.
Big handfuls. I was like, here, just go for it.
Aww,
we still had a lot. I gave like candy to people that came over. My son's childcare, I gave her a bunch of candy to bring home. I just eat it all.
It's a lot. One, I didn't leave candy out because I don't think that anybody comes down because I live in like a narrow road that's just full of townhouses
Yeah.
and there's not a ton of people that decorate and stuff. And I think everybody just leaves, like takes their kids somewhere else. So I didn't leave anything out this year, or last year, and then before Oliver was ready for trick or treating, I did, I made a point to be ready for kids, but that was during COVID. So,
Did you watch anything on Halloween night?
I tried. So I worked all day and then I left work early to come over. I literally had to come across town back towards home to pick up Oliver, get our stuff together, drive all the way back past where I work, to go to where we were going to go for trick or treating. We were waiting on Addie and the big kids. And then when they got there, everybody was ready to go. So we went trick or treating. We did that until after 8:30. And then I had to drive all the way back home. So it was after 9:30 by the time I got home. And it had been such a full day. I was exhausted.
That's a long day. And they said like you worked before that.
It was exhausting. And so, my normal is I always watch the original Halloween on Halloween.
Right.
Which is that's not a tradition I've had for like a super long time, but I've been doing that for a while now, and that's been my go-to. And I could not make it through the movie. I was falling asleep.
It's a slow burn movie too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I made it all the way to the part when I'm trying to think. Oh, when Lori realizes like that her friends are not, like when she goes over to the house.
When
That's
she
the
first goes over, yeah.
Yeah, that's about as far as I got. And I was like, I gotta tap out. I was so exhausted. We walked up and down hills. We were just, but it was great. It's my favorite Halloween memory so far. And I think we had such a great time, and I'm hoping that it sets a new standard, like a new tradition for us. And it was just a great experience all around. But damn, it was tiring. I was so tired. So
does it was on a weekend next year? Because those were the best.
No, I think it's going to be in the middle of the week next year because it's on a Tuesday.
Oh, right.
So it's probably going to be Wednesday, Thursday next year.
It's a Thursday next year.
Yeah, and then so in 2025 it will be on the weekend.
That'll be nice. And
that will be amazing. And then by then Oliver will be 6.5. So.
Oh yeah.
Or no, 2025 he'll be 7.5. No. Oh. How old is my child? 5. He's 5.5. He'll be 6.5 next year. So yeah, in 2025 he'll be 7.5. He'll be able to go.
Yeah. Andy will just be getting into it. I feel like at that point, because he'll be 2, and then he'll be 3 then for 2025.
Yeah. The only reason I didn't take Oliver when he was 2 is because it was literally the Halloween of COVID 2020. Yeah. So I didn't get to take him for the first time until the following year when he was 3, but we absolutely would have taken him at 2 if it hadn't been the fact that like nobody was doing Halloween.
Yeah. My friends who came over with their baby, she'll only be like just 1 at that point. So we'll probably take them both. She'll probably just be in the stroller and we'll try to see if he's into it.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But we just had them over this year. We had some pizza. I threw on Wolfman and Frankenstein in the background just to have
the OGs.
The OGs, just to sort of have like a nice old-fashioned aesthetic for the night. I love
that. Yeah.
Because last year I did Creature from the Black Lagoon. So I kind of wanted to keep with the universal theme.
Yeah, I think it's so crazy. I will say the small tangent, and then we can jump into stuff. But like, I got asked to send like a 1-minute voice clip to Jordana from Pretty Killer Podcast about what Halloween meant to me. You ever like not realize how important something is to you until you start talking about it? Has that ever happened? Where you're like, oh yeah, no, this is meaningful, and then you're like, oh my god, this is like really meaningful. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to elaborate on that because I only got a minute. I was like, I'm going to elaborate on that. So I did like a longer thread on Twitter about all the things that the reason that Halloween was so important to me. And I'm glad that I did because I think it made me even appreciate the day even more than I normally do, because I've never really thought about why it's so important to me or why I get like a specific energy the day of, or, and anyway, so I jumped into all of that on Twitter. If you want to go back and look, it's on my Twitter, you guys can find it there. But it was just this very deep dive of like, this is how I grew up. These were the moments that I remember the most. And this is why Halloween is special to me. And anyway, it just put the whole day in a different perspective than I think I was prepared for going into it.
Yeah.
And it was just weird because I didn't realize that I felt so strongly. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't realize I felt so strongly about what it meant until I was talking about it. And then I was like, oh man, like there's a lot here to unpack. But anyway.
It's not quite taking it for granted. It's more just like, it's sort of like going with the motions because it's important to you, not really like having like articulated for yourself.
That's a good point. And it's, because you know that it's meaningful, but you don't really take the time to think about the reasoning. And then when you do, you're like, oh, dang, like there's a lot here. Like, but anyway, it just made for a really good day. I was like, and then I'm like, now this is like my seasonal depression is after that. Because then it's like into like the really pressured holidays, the family crap, the travel, the financial burden of it. Like those are the holidays. Yeah. So anyway, and Halloween's not like that.
Can spend quite some on Halloween, I'm sure. I mean, we just did a mystery box.
Yeah. And that's still less than I'm going to have to spend at Christmas by a mile.
That's true. That was just a lovely gift for ourselves.
That was for us. Well, remind me to tell you, I did ask them about the next box, by the way, but we'll circle back to that after.
Oh, okay.
Remind me to tell you what they said because I meant to tell you and I forgot.
Exciting. Deep tease for more steery goodness.
Yeah.
So why don't you start us off with some trailers?
Yeah. So we got a trailer for Night of the Missing, which is going to be a Screambox exclusive. There's a couple of these on here. It's so funny because I don't have this service, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this so the Night of the Missing, it looks like it's it kind of has like the beginning is like what you've talked about before, where it's like a long setup scene, and then there's like a bunch of flashes of a bunch of stuff that happens. But that comes out November 28th. What I got out of it is a woman shows up to report a child missing or someone missing in the middle of the night at the small police station. And there's like these pictures of all these missing kids. And she seems to know some things that don't quite make the officer there feel very comfortable or happy. It doesn't give too much away. It looks like it's going to go into some stories. It's like an anthology.
It's like a Christmas anthology.
It's like a Christmas anthology story where there's like something different that happens to all these different kids. And so other than that, it doesn't give too much away. I think the only thing that I saw that I felt like showed a lot was the ice cream man.
I liked it. The ice cream man part.
Yeah. Very Legion of them.
That long.
Because Doug Jones plays the ice cream man in Legion, and he did exactly those stretchy, like crazy scenes. And
I liked Legion. That was underrated.
I really hope Addie watches this episode because she's not a fan of that movie, and I love it so much.
It's very underrated. I liked it a lot.
Like 1 or 2 stars. Like it's ridiculous. It's so good. But anyway, so you get this picture of like an ice cream setup. One of those like bunkers is the word I was going to use. That's not right. One of those like pop-up things, and it looks like it's a little bit more than a truck. But anyway, so the guy reaches out, his arm stretches. It's abnormally long. And it just pokes this kid in the chest and it looks like he freezes instantly.
Yeah, I like the effect of like the ice.
It looks cool, yeah.
It looked really cool. I was surprised by some of the production value in this trailer.
Yeah.
It looked pretty fun. But I was looking because in the article itself, because we got the mysterious ice cream man, it's missing friends, disturbing phone calls. We're going to get kind of several different tropes throughout the anthology, but I'm going to be curious to see how, like, is it the ice cream man that ties it all in together? Is it a mix of things? Because I also got the sense that the cop in this seems to know a lot more as well.
Yeah, it looks like it's very, I definitely got the impression that it's like small town horror, right? Where it's like a bunch of things that are happening in the same space maybe, but yeah we'll see.
Yeah, I'd be curious. It's like I think the description was like, like town secrets Oh, it's
Hmm.
a 4-part holiday anthology. So is it a movie or is it a TV show?
I thought it was a movie.
Right, it
No.
follows a series of disturbances. But then it says Night of Missing is a 4-part holiday anthology.
Oh, so it might be 4 small movies, 4 shorter
Maybe it's
movies?
4 hours, right? I
Right,
could see it
like a mini series.
yeah, like a mini series. So that's cool.
I'm gonna have to eventually get Screambox, but I mean, ugh,
They're slowly adding more. I mean, like they have a lot to compete with like Shutter out there, right? But
not if their app works, they don't. I have a hard time even watching Shutter. Shutter doesn't work on my phone at all.
oh,
And
that's a
then
bummer.
like literally at all, like straight up won't work. And then the app, I tried to watch When Evil Lurks, which Steve posted a review of. You can watch that. It's in our shorts. And it literally cut me off and went back to my home screen on my smart TV 8 times.
Wow.
And that's the only app that does that to me.
That's wild.
It irritates me. Anyway, don't even get me started. But so I may be canceling that for a little bit and focusing more on to
Well, you
get
can
some
always
stream
that's the thing with the
and go
streaming
back and
services.
forth.
There's no contract, right? So it's like you could have
Yeah,
something
month
for a
to
month.
month. Mhm.
Yeah. Stop it, go to the next one, sort of.
And I could do a trial because I haven't done the trial for Screambox. I assume they have a trial, right? Like a 30-day or something.
I think they do free trials.
Okay.
I think I remember. But Screambox is also one of those where you can Shutter might also do it. Where like if you have like a TV stick, like Amazon's Fire Stick,
Or Fire Stick.
you can add it on as like a channel and you would just get the things. Like I remember that's how I watched Terrifier. Was I subscribed to Screambox.
No, I don't have that. I just have Roku TVs. All of my TVs are Rokus.
Oh, okay. But do you have Prime?
I do.
Because you can then add it as a Prime channel.
Oh,
And then
without the stick?
without the stick or without whatever. I mean, like wherever you stream Prime
Mhm.
movies and stuff,
Prime Video.
you don't necessarily need the Screambox app or the Shutter app. I think
I see what you're saying.
you just
Okay,
get it as a channel, and then you can stream it that way, just through the Prime itself.
right. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I can try that. I mean, I think I don't use Shutter as much as a lot of other people do. I used to use it a lot more. But then, the other streaming services started amping up their horror game, and I didn't need it as my only source of horror, So, anyway, I say all that to say that, I'm going to have to get it because some of these exclusives, they look really, really good and I want to be able to watch them. So, which is a great segue into our next trailer.
Oh yeah, so another Christmas horror coming out on Screambox for November 7th is Secret Santa. So this is a sort of like really low budge, but I mean that might add to its charm. It's a low budge sort of dark comedy, and you just sort of get like, I don't know if this is like a family. I think it's a family. It's all group, getting together for the holidays. And then they just start killing each other. I think it's just like the ultimate like uncomfortable family holiday, sort of like
Which
it's
is
all
how we all feel on the inside when we go to these stupid things anyway.
right. So if we just all acted on it and started killing,
Just started bashing each other's head in with snow globes, yeah.
again. Yeah, there's like some gruesome stuff going on that they're doing to each other. Like there's like ornaments through the back of the head, out the mouth. There's like full on. I mean, like that stuff looked. It didn't look like CG blood. It sort of looked like they're gonna go practical, which I think
Yeah.
it is a low budget. It'll feel a little more grounded because of that.
Yeah.
See, my issue with low budget is when they do then CG effects and they don't look good, and I feel like it makes it look cheaper. Whereas, I think you do better, and it's cheaper anyway to do practical. I'd imagine, right? We talked about this fake blood and stuff.
Yep, a lot cheaper.
So I think because of that, it'll sort of add to the grittiness of it, and it should be fun. But that's going to be on the 7th on Screambox. So Screambox is really starting to, I mean, they're definitely embracing the holiday horror this year, but I think that's probably going to help them maybe get a slew of new subscribers.
1,000% it is. People love holiday. People in our world love holiday horror. Love it. And it's kind of like, this thing where it's like, there is some of it. There's some, but there really just isn't as much as we would like. So doing it having these seasonal movies, I totally agree, is going to amp up their
I mean,
their
capitalize
subscription.
on it. It's like, what
Yep.
they call like counter programming, right? While
Yeah.
Hallmark is doing all like their million Christmas movies.
Exactly. Just capitalize on doing the horror side of those things, and yeah, I think that's a good plan for success.
The biggest one I think we had last year was Violent Night with David Harbour.
Yeah, but that even to me though, that wasn't really.
It wasn't horror. It was
It
more
wasn't
like,
horror. They had that AI one. The what was it called? The AI Santa.
Christmas Bloody Christmas or something,
That sounds right. Yeah.
or Bloody Christmas. Yeah, Christmas Bloody Christmas. I think it was
Yeah.
called.
I cut it off after about 20 minutes. I didn't finish it, but that was the only new one. And I have Christmas ones that I revisit. I revisit Puka. I love that one.
Mhm. That
Obviously
Grinch one came
Gremlins.
out too.
Huh?
That Grinch one came out too.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right. Yeah, there
Mean
weren't a lot of new ones last year. I always watch Krampus. I always watch the ones that are older, but
You ever see? This is a tangent. You ever see Santa's Sleigh with the opening kill is Fran Drescher?
no, I have not seen that.
It's wild. It's just
I
like,
didn't see that one.
oh, I don't remember. I remember seeing it. It was like on like AMC or something, like late at night.
What's that other one everybody likes? Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Silent Night. That's like a bigger one. That's a big one. Yeah.
No thanks. Hard pass. I cut that one off too. Yeah. But I love the other ones. There's another one called it's an anthology one called All the Creatures Are Stirring.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It's silly, but I honestly like, and I'm weird about that, but for whatever reason, it's sung to me. It's an anthology Christmas one, but it's got some really, really cool things going on, and I don't think enough people are talking about it. It's really good.
Oh, well, silly could be fun, right? If it's
Yeah. I mean, Christmas horror is allowed to be kind of silly,
Yeah.
But
It's
anyway,
just the contrast, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that just really adds to it.
yeah.
But moving from holiday horror, you're excited about this one.
Yeah, we finally, because I thought we were done. We finally got a glimpse of the next Planet of the Apes, which is going to be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which comes out May of next year, May 24th. So I realize this isn't like hardcore horror, right? But it's on Bloody Disgusting, first of all. So I'm just saying. But anyway, but it's I love these movies so much. Like I
Yeah.
grew up on Planet of the Apes. Like whenever you hear me talk about like my origin of getting into horror, it started with these like really kooky like sci-fi films. And I grew up on Planet of the Apes. That was one of the ones that I grew up on all the time. As we watched them all the time when I was growing up, my dad has the what are they called? The sets, like the VHS sets, and
Mhm.
oh my god, like it was a huge deal. So, and y'all can be mad if you want to. I even loved the Mark Wahlberg one. I thought it was super good.
Yeah.
Tim Roth as oh my god, I'm drawing a name. Shoot, something with a TH sound. I cannot think of his name. The bad guy though in that one is Tim Roth. Please, like he's amazing. That's so good.
Yeah.
So, and I loved the other ones: Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War of the Planet of like sign me up. I'm here for all of these. So we get our first glimpses of this. At first, I mean, it looks just as good as I would have expected it to look. It looks just like the other ones. Like it definitely seems like it's going to be pretty consistent as far as feeling and look and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is like our first look at it. So we'll get something, I think, a little more concrete later. But I mean, I think it looks great. I'm excited about it. I genuinely love these movies. They have a very like the Planet of the Apes franchise is a very, very special place in my heart. So I'm very, very excited to see a new one. I really thought we were done. So this came out of nowhere. And as soon as I saw it, I screenshot it and sent it to you. And I was like, this has to be discussed. Like,
It's exciting.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I think, well, just to kind of back you on the sort of like how it's connected to horror, I think a lot of early sci-fi shares roots with horror for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Planet of the Apes fits in.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these ideas at the time were horrific, right? Or meant to provoke and sort of, make you question things. And like just shock. I mean, because I would consider like Twilight Zone, for example, isn't straight up horror, but I think we
That's true.
but we do consider Twilight Zone to be at least tangentially horror.
That's true. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
And I mean, I also think about like at the beginning in Halloween, right? What are the kids watching? They're watching sci-fi on Halloween because it's like it's got some spookiness to it.
Everyone's like, everyone says that like horror and comedy go so well together, and I'm always like, meh. But horror and sci-fi are like besties. Like they go so perfect together.
Absolutely. But I'm very excited. I enjoy these movies too. Probably not as much as you do. I feel like feels like these are really special for you, but I do love them.
They're good. Yeah.
You know, I'm very curious because this seems to be many years after the last one. They seem to be very advanced.
Very advanced.
As a society now, and it looks like there's like factions happening between the apes, and that'll be really cool. And were there humans in the trailer? Are there like sort of no?
No. But I mean, I'm guessing there has to be at some point, but they're not showing them yet. I don't remember there being humans.
Because then I wonder, is like, are the humans going to be trying to take the planet back at some point, right? So,
and you saying this, you just saying what you said made me think too. I wonder if it's going to go like an Animal Farm route. You know, the pigs take over because humans suck, and then they just turn into humans because they keep making all the rules, and then it ends up just being because society is a vicious cycle.
Well, what's funny is, I mean, if evolution takes its course, are they going to start to like lose their fur? Are they literally going to become humans? You're right.
Yeah, like where is this going to go, and what is the like?
That would be funny if they like flash forward like a millennia, and like they start to become like Neanderthals and stuff. That would be so funny, and it becomes like this sort of like snake eating its tail. That is so I love it.
I do wonder because I mean, the story for Dawn of the Planet. I said Dawn of the Dead, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War of the Planet of the Apes. You know, conceptually, they're not that different as far as like the plot. I mean, it's them against humans. You know, it's the same. The only one that's different is the first one, of that set of three, because that one's setting us up for this takeover, this change in power, and this dystopian world that we get when we go into Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I always mix them up. I think that's the second one.
Rise, Dawn, War. Yeah.
Okay, Rise, Dawn, War. So Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. But yeah, I mean, I genuinely love these. I really kind of categorize them as like creature features. Like I know that they're just apes, but I mean, Bruce was just a shark. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where it's like I consider these like not really monster movies, but creature features, and which kind of course ties into like the horror side of things too. And I'm here for anything like that. Anything with talking animals, or like I'm here for anything like that. So this was a really exciting thing that I did not know was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited. I will probably try to this is really close to Ollie's birthday. I will probably try to make an effort to go see this with my dad.
Yeah. And he's too young, Ollie, for these movies, right?
Honestly, he'd probably watch them as long as there weren't that many human parts. He likes animal movies. He would just think they were crazy. He'd be like, what the heck? He'd be like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't take him to the theater to see it because I assume it's going to be rated R.
I think these are 13.
Are they PG-13?
Well,
these are good PG-13s.
They're intense.
I can think of a very specific franchise right now that could take some notes. This is how you do PG-13, like, because they're intense, they're mature, you don't feel like you're being babied. But yeah, so he probably wouldn't go, but my mom would hang out with him while my dad would go.
There you go.
Yeah. But I do think, I think it's going to be really, really good. I love these. Honestly, if they made 10 more, I'd watch them all. I don't,
If this does well, there's potential. They probably could keep going.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that's what, May 24th.
We got some time. Yeah.
So on to news and trending. So we have our first look at Blood and Honey 2 coming out February of 2024. What a transition from Apes to Winnie the Pooh. I have still
childhood classics is the theme for this episode.
Classic. So I have not seen the original. Have you seen the original?
No.
And I figured we covered this anyway, just because I think Pooh does look good. I think you sent the story in for us, so they give you the credit. But I think it's worth covering. I think Pooh looks gnarly here.
Yeah, he looks less silly.
What is silly? They really went because he's very like I don't know, wrinkly.
He
I
looks
don't
like a
know.
monster, like
Looks
a
like a monster, yeah.
yeah.
Um, but they've spent more money um on it.
Yeah,
So
it
the
did well.
article,
Like it was really well received.
yeah, so the article in Bloody Disgusting, so they spent $770 on the original costume. They spent $20,000 on this.
Okay, well, it didn't look like it was a $20,000, but we'll see. We'll
Is it
reserve judgment
one image?
until we see the whole thing.
I guess it depends, like, I guess materials? I guess maybe you're paying the designers?
I'm going to be honest with you. If it is like costume versus like prosthetics and stuff, because there's a difference.
Yeah.
I think they would have done better probably spending the money on the prosthetics, but we'll see. We'll see what it looks like, when
Yeah.
we get our first looks at like a trailer.
We'll see the trailer, yeah. But the sequel will also continue to feature Christopher Robin and Piglet. Piglet and Christopher Robin were in the original. The
Yep.
first one I know that, but it also says Owl and Tigger.
Yep.
Were they in the first one? No. So
No,
they were new.
they couldn't. Yeah, they were not. They were still protected characters.
Oh, so
Yep.
now they're up for
Yep.
grabs.
Yep.
That's so funny. It's so wild that this is in the public domain still. That still baffles me.
I'm telling you, somebody is getting like is in trouble for missing that. Like, so, I don't know, because like, yeah, I first of all, so I was like a massive Tigger fan. Like,
Yeah.
I was a million of the toys. Like, I was obsessed. My alarm clock was Tigger. Like, I had Tigger slippers. Like, Tigger was my when I was growing up, and I'm not happy that they're adding him because I'm just like, I don't know, like we'll see. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what they do with this. I kind of had like a not a subplot. I don't know, words are hard today. I had like another reason I wanted to add to talk about it too, is because there was some controversy a little while ago about the filmmakers, because when people did not well receive this movie, the filmmaker, the people, or I won't say the filmmakers because I don't know that, but whoever is running the social medias for Blood and Honey are connected to some pretty awful harassment and bullying and some really ugliness related to reviews. And so I think it will be interesting to see if that affects, the welcoming of a part two, because, I think it's fine. Like, no matter what you take, people hate us probably. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, that's probably not true, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just one of those, it's just one of those things. When you take something, you create something, you put it out into the world,
Yeah.
there's going to be people that don't like it. And that's okay. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to appeal to everyone. People, at least from a majority of what I was seeing, really, really enjoyed the first movie. I mean, we knew going into it, it was going to be just craziness, right? Which that's the point. So, and it was the same thing. I kind of compare it to like Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear is such a wild movie, but it was so fun. It was so funny. I laughed so hard, and that's fine. Like, it's fine. But I'll be curious to see kind of how that plays into like a part two coming out, because you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't attack people just because they don't like your movie. Just like people who don't like movies shouldn't attack the people who made them. I think it goes both ways.
Absolutely. People
you
take
know,
things way too personal.
Yeah, it's entertainment. It's not going to appeal to everyone, and that's okay. And you just have to be respectful of the filmmaker, and the filmmakers have to be respectful of the people who don't like their movies. That's okay. Like, they obviously did well enough. I mean, if they went from $700 to 20 grand, they doing okay, so I'll be curious to see what this looks like. Because there was a lot of that going around, and I was seeing the screenshots and stuff, and it was going around for like a while on Instagram and Twitter. I think it was primarily on Instagram, and it was just like, oof, but we'll see. I think it could be, maybe fun. I'm a little nervous about the Tigger thing, but
maybe they got some new PR behind them this year, so maybe they'll learn their lesson.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's okay to play, to like have banter, but you don't want to like bully. That's not good.
No, it's okay to be. I mean, I know because some people try to be silly with the social media. Like, I think about Chucky and Megan fighting.
I love getting my text messages from Chucky.
Oh, I know. I love that stuff.
They're so funny.
It's a fun, like, little gimmick just to keep you smiling between episodes.
Yeah.
But I think you.
But yeah, so we got
I'm like,
first
who's
one.
next story? I think you have this one.
I do. Sorry, I talk so much for that. I'm sorry.
No, you're.
I just had opinions because, like,
Yeah, no, it's fair.
we don't put up with bullies here. Anyway, in
We
our
don't bully
community.
here at
So
the Crypt.
the no. But yeah, so our next piece of news is a possession movie called Killing Faith. This does not have a release date, I think, right? TBD.
I don't believe so.
I don't think it does either.
Due to begin in January.
For filming.
Yeah, for filming.
Okay. And then I was going to open the thing, but I can't open it on my computer or StreamYard will stop working. So this is going to be Guy Pearce and DeWanda Wise. She was she in the Jurassic Park movie?
Yeah, she was in the last one.
Dominion.
Yeah.
And
speaking of, you were just talking about him.
And Tim Roth.
Yes.
Which I love Tim Roth. I'm annoyed that the notation in this is Reservoir Dogs, because even though I know he's a bigger part as Mr. Orange and Reservoir Dogs, he's also the crazy guy in the diner of Pulp Fiction. And I just, whenever, like, that was my introduction to him. He was also in Resurrection. He was in that show Lie to Me. He's done so many things. I absolutely love this man. Like, I will watch anything that he's in. So anyway, so Guy Pearce will play Dr. Bender, a faithless, of course, physician who agrees to escort an anguished mother, DeWanda, on a journey across a treacherous desert, very Book of Eli. Mm-hmm. The mother is hopeful of finding a cure for her daughter's mysterious illness. She is possessed by the devil. Tim Roth will play the role of Preacher Ross. Filming is set to begin in New Mexico in January, and they were able to secure the agreement with SAG-AFTRA for SAGF AFTRA.
Yeah. So I feel like it's going to be like a period piece, or it sounds like it's going to be a period piece.
Yeah, well, to me, it sounds like, yeah. Well, so you're thinking like past?
Yeah.
I was thinking the opposite.
Oh. You think it's like present day or future?
Future, maybe, but I mean, I don't know. I guess it leaves it's very open, right?
It's almost got like the way it talks about the desert. It's being shot in New Mexico, and like I'm a preacher. I'm almost getting like a Western vibe.
Yeah, I guess I could see that too. I was thinking more like some of the scenes from Constantine.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like Constantine's technically not dystopian, but it always felt post-apocalyptic to me.
It can be.
And it definitely felt Book of Eli-ish, which is
it can go in so many directions. I mean, they didn't really give us much.
No, not at all. But I'm here for a possession movie.
It's a possession movie. It's got a cool cast. I mean, this sort of like they're going through the desert. So are they like going over the border? Is it almost like I'm wondering if it's like a border story, like a border crossing kind of thing? I could see that. Like maybe there's someone maybe in Mexico that can help them, and they have to get across, or
Then maybe we'll get something other than Catholicism as the primary focal point.
That's what I'm thinking. It feels
of the
like
religion.
Maybe do something a little different. I mean, there's Catholicism in Mexico too, but like it's.
But you know what I mean, though, where there's other culture things that are related to like, so.
It's not like the church coming and being like, we can fix this.
They do, they're fixers. Yeah, so I think it does sounds good. I mean, possession movies is my second favorite subgenre of horror, or third favorite subgenre of horror, and I think it's just something I will continue to give a chance, even though I have not been impressed lately.
Fair enough. Well, even the preachers aren't Catholic. That's something different too.
Right. And that was my other thing I was going to say. Yeah, he's not Father Ross. So, unless it's just a generic quote, but we'll see. I think either way, even if they go the Catholicism route, it's Tim Roth. Like I just think he'll do great, like alone, like as himself. Like I think he'll be fine. And but yeah, it's a possession. I'm here for possession movies. They're fun. I like them.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, we had one good possession movie this year. Another one not so great.
What was the good one?
Talk to me.
Oh, you're right. We did have one good one.
We had one good one this year.
Yeah,
Was it amazing?
there is.
No, but it was good. I liked it.
Yeah,
But yeah, so no release date. It's filming though. So if it's filming
it
in
starts filming in January.
January, we probably won't get it by. Well, we actually might get it by October. We could.
It depends. I mean, feel free for if y'all are, the people making the movie or watching this, feel free to take your time.
Yeah. No, it's true. Don't rush it.
Don't rush it. But I think it just depends on how much of things are set up for the filming, as far as time.
I mean, if they're like ready to go and they could bang it out.
Yeah, then yeah.
So,
but yeah.
Our next story, just a quick little update that Last of Us Season 2 will be filming January of this coming year.
God.
Yeah. So that could potentially be ready by that. I mean, it could be ready by the end of the year then. If they start filming it, because it's a weekly release. So with weekly release shows is they could still be editing it while it's coming out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. This is also one, though, that they've been working on anyway. So it's not like they're going to be starting from scratch when they're filming. And that matters. Like they're just going to they're just going to start the filming process. Everything else is set up. Like as far as what they're going to do, the casting, I'm really curious. Like I've seen, I don't think it was confirmed. I think it was a tease. But there was these teases that they were going to do. They were going to Florence the role of Abby.
Oh.
And it's going to be so hard to make me hate her. But I think like it would be interesting to see a character that I'm so used to loving be in a role of like one of the worst video game villains I've ever met in my life. So it should be good. I'm excited to see who else gets thrown in the mix.
And then this will be exploring game 2. I think they're splitting it. I think I remember them saying they were going to do game 2, kind of seasons 2 and 3.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we'll see. Then I don't know if they're going to go in their own direction. There might be a third game that they can adapt.
I mean,
at that point, who knows?
Right. I do know they're not recasting Ellie. So the thing is, in the second game, Ellie's a little older.
Yeah.
And she's in, I'll leave it alone because there's people who only watch the show. Ellie's older in the second game. She's a young adult, and it's not the same as being a preteen, or early teens. And so, but they have made the decision to not recast because the voice actress of Ellie is too old. And we've already seen her as Ellie's mom in the first one, in the first season. And so, anyway, so we'll see how they kind of make that work because there's, I don't know if there's a way to make it work with her being so young, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, cause she's young. I mean, you can't really, with an older person, you can kind of cheat age with makeup. With a younger person, it's hard. Then you end up looking like the last Harry Potter movie. That looked horrible.
Yeah. So I'll be curious to see how they kind of deal with that because there's no way around doing the second game and not addressing the character of Ellie being older. Unless they just change, I don't know. We'll see.
That would change the plot, right? I mean, if they don't jump as far ahead, it sort of messes with the story.
Have you played the games?
Well, I have never. I didn't finish it. But I like
so
what I played.
So you don't know what happens in 2.
No.
Oh no. Okay. Okay. Well, the world is. You thought season 1 was rough. It gets so much worse. But yeah, Ellie's character is older. And they want to keep the same actress, acting person. I know they're they, them. I'm not sure what the equivalent of that is acting, but the person who's,
Ramsey uses they. Yeah.
Yes. And so, and they do so great as Ellie. I would hate to see someone else. It would upset me. So I'm glad that they're sticking with them instead of, changing it. But we'll see what they do. I'm excited that they're filming. I'm so ready. I love the first season.
Yeah,
that's true.
But I have another TV update. Actually, several. We're ending with a lot of TV. Actually.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a hard one for you. I know.
So if you're new here, I am the official biggest fan of Adrian Brody. I worship the ground that man walks on. I absolutely love Adrian Brody so much. And so when I heard about Chapelwaite, I was like, oh, what? Salem's Lot? Adrian Brody? I will sign me up. I mean, have you seen the pictures from the show? Anyway, so it was really amazing. Like the first season was so good. It ends and it definitely leaves it open for a second. They'd been whispering about it for a long time because this was through Epics, which is now what, MGM Plus or
MGM. It's the same where from.
Yeah. So, and they have officially pulled the plug on season 2 for Chapelwaite. So, no more waiting on Chapelwaite. It's done.
Did it end? Is there enough closure to satisfy you, or is it like a complete cliffhanger?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm only upset because I love Adrian Brody.
You just want,
and there's just not enough of him and stuff like anymore.
Yeah,
and he was so great in this. Like, oh god, Chapelwaite was good. If you haven't seen it, it's so good. It's worth the watch. I watched it right before I started the first season of From because it came out the year prior.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so they have officially canceled Chapelwaite, and I thought it was safe because it wasn't on Netflix.
Oh yeah. No, other people will be canceling too.
Yeah. Now I just need an update on what's the other show I'm waiting on? Oh, Rings of Power.
Oh, love Rings.
5 freaking years before we get another season. I know it is because fantasy is expensive and timely to make.
Yeah, a lot of money was spent on that show.
God, it was so good though. And there's another. They did finally commit to a second season of Arcane League of Legends.
Oh yeah.
Which is mine and Addie's like #1 show. And we are like drooling ready for more information on that. But that one did finally get confirmed. So the only show I have officially not heard anything about yet is the second season of Rings of Power.
Okay. We actually start. Speaking of fantasy, well, it's more superhero, but season 2 of Invincible just started. Dan and I love that.
What's that one? I don't know what that one is.
It's an Amazon Prime show. It's an animated show. It's about Robert Kirkman, Walking Dead. He did a superhero series.
Oh, you told me that. That sounds familiar.
And it took like 2 or 3 years for the second season to come out. Oh my god, it was a long wait for this show.
I hate that. It sucks when you have to.
I honestly feel like I need to just rewatch the first season because I'm like, Lord knows I remember everything.
I'm gonna have to do that with The Last of Us when the season 2 comes out.
Yeah, I hate long shows, man. I get it because it's hard to make some things, but it's like my brain. It's hard to remember things. You know?
Yeah, I had to do that. What was the other show I had to do that? Sweet Tooth. Did you watch that one? I love that one. I actually still haven't watched the second season, but I rewatched the first season to get ready for the second season.
Oh, okay. And not every show, unfortunately, does like a good recap. Some do.
No. Well, and then some do that thing where they recap based on the importance of that episode. So like if you're watching the first episode, they'll recap things from the previous season that are relevant to that episode, but then it will change.
Right. Other stuff gets touched on, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's a pain to try to remember all of that stuff. And we consume so much entertainment in that way that it's like, it's impossible to keep up with it all.
I know. But speaking of TV, we're on our third TV story. A lot of TV news, but this is a big one. This is like, I'm also scared. So a Poltergeist TV show is in early development with MGM and Amazon. I mean, I don't know. I'm like speechless, sort of. Like I'm anxious. I think I text you. I'm like, I'm so nervous.
We did talk about it a little bit, yeah.
I need to know who's involved. I need to be able to trust that they're going to understand what makes Poltergeist special. Because, like I think I said, like right now, the only person I can think of right now that I think could handle it is someone like a Mike Flanagan. Just because it's like Haunting of Hill House, like you have these like ghost story shows where like characters are front and center, like the relationships matter, like the family in Poltergeist matters. Or now, are we getting a Freeling story or are we getting something else? We don't know.
Yeah.
But if we're not getting the Freelings, we need a family that we care about. And I think we need someone who can write a good family dynamic. But
Yeah,
anyway,
and you gotta think too, like if it's gonna be a show and it's gonna be a family that we need to we need to connect to for the first time, it's gonna have to be slow to start.
it's gonna have to be slow, little like spooky stuff, kind of pepper. I'm thinking like really like elongate the first act of Poltergeist. But I'm thinking another kind of cool thing that they could do is go a little bit bigger than
Mhm.
just the house. And what if it was almost like the whole town of Cuesta Verde? And you
Mhm.
sort of had like multiple families dealing with stuff because if they're all on the graveyard, something like that could be kind of cool.
Yeah, make it bigger.
Make it a little bit bigger. Do something different. Like, don't just try to rehash it because the remake didn't do. I mean, the remake was fine, but you didn't really care so much about the family.
God no.
So,
I cry when I watch the original Poltergeist,
yeah,
especially as a parent now.
yeah. There's like that, like the helplessness. Like you have to like. But what's kind of cool, I think, with the show is then
Mhm.
you if it's going to be the same kind of story where a kid gets taken, we're going to have a little more time to get to know the kids.
Yeah,
And so
that's true.
when they do take him or her, it'd be interesting if they take a male child. It's that'd be a nice little. I think just to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I'd be curious, but like I think because you could definitely flesh out depending on how many siblings there are. Because Dana gets sort of fleshed out, but not really. Mostly Robbie and Carol Ann that we really get the most of.
And then the rest is their identities as parents is
And
what you connect to, not them as as individual human beings. It's more about, I mean, with it's like with Diana, it's very much the mom and like you just that's the parts that you get like connected to. I think, and then I will say, I think in the original movie, in the first movie, they do a little bit better job of giving us pieces of them as characters than they do in the second one because we get these like moments like when she's doing the chair
Mhm.
and she's like so excited and silly and like and you get those shots with them as a married couple where they're like smoking pot and laughing and like talking, but it's not as fleshed out, I agree, as the kids are. And then most of what you get with them is them as parents.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'd be curious though. I think there's a lot of wiggle room. I don't know if they go like a Mike Flanagan route. I always bring him up just because I love. Clearly I have a crush on this dude. His work. But are we gonna put more faces to ghosts? Are we gonna get ghosts? Because we didn't really get ghosts per se
No.
in the movies.
Mm-mm.
I guess like Kane, I guess, is sort of like a ghost like
He's
representation.
like but he feels almost more like I don't know, like something bigger.
Because he's not a demon. They never say demon. They say
No.
the beast.
Because he was a preacher at some point.
Right. So it was a human spirit that sort of morphed over the years and became just super violent and aggressive and can do all this stuff, right?
Mhm.
But I'd be curious, like, because we do get glimpses of the dead, like right when they're doing the investigation, all the spirits are coming down the stairs.
Yep.
I would be curious to see if maybe we can explore some of the ghosts of the town. In maybe a different way. Like maybe we could fully explore like Carol Ann and Diane being psychic and like actually connecting with the dead this way. Like there's different routes you can go than sort of just copying the story beat for beat.
Yeah, and you could do, and I know this has been done already. But another idea as far as like making it be like a multi-house kind of situation is having it sort of like how it was in Buffy, where like it was a hellmouth. So there's
Mhm.
like this energy about it that brings these things to it. So you could bring in other sensitives, these other, that they just feel like they need to be there. Like it some of that could be played with too, I think, because it's got a crazy energy.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if maybe they would do something similar to that. If not, something, I mean, obviously unique in its own self, but just kind of based off that concept.
Yeah. And I'd be curious, I mean, also if it would be modern times. I don't think they, you really want to try to make it. I mean, there's so many movies now that are taking place in the 80s. I don't think you necessarily have to go the nostalgic route for it.
No, no,
Um, you
no.
could do, I mean, you could do 90s. I mean, you could do kind of, it doesn't have to be modern per se, but I don't think you necessarily need to recreate it by making it the 80s. It could maybe be, or it could be a story that spans different years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's been different incidents. Maybe something did happen in the 80s. I mean, do you tie it into the actual movies? That'd be kind of cool. Like, what if they tried to rebuild Quest of Faraday and the Freelings
Yeah.
were an actual thing that happened? Like, that event actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's kind of starting up again because people are idiots and don't learn.
Yeah, no kidding.
But that would tie into the sort of the Spielbergian theme of it, right? Because the whole Spielberg is really good because all of his stuff is like, don't mess with what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jaws, don't mess with sharks or the ocean. Dinosaurs, don't mess with DNA and all that shit, right?
Yeah. What was the alien? What's the alien one?
Third Encounter.
Huh?
Third Encounter.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. E.T. even is sort of E.T. and Third Encounter.
It's just like, yeah.
All of it is, yeah, don't mess with things. So it's sort of like to go back and mess with it. It could kind of maybe be very nice and self-referential.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. I'm very painfully, cautiously optimistic. I just want it to be good.
I felt like I was really proud of myself for giving the remake a chance.
Yeah.
Because as meaningful as Poltergeist is to me, I just you would because I also am a huge massive Black Christmas is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't touch those remakes. Wouldn't touch them.
Right.
But I gave Poltergeist a chance. But I think it's because there is a part of me that does want more. I just need it to be done in a way that is an homage to what the original got right, but something unique that still shows respect and love for its source code, right? Like I think and I think that that's possible, but it goes back to what you were saying, though. It really just depends on who has their hands in this because it just, oh God, it's so easy for this to be messed up. So easy.
Yeah, well, it's MGM. I don't know if MGM did the remake, but MGM is the OG studio from the original.
No, I think the remake was something else.
It was someone else, right? So I'm feeling it's back home, sort of in that regard, right? Studio wise. So I'm feeling okay, at least there. But we'll see. I mean, it's early development, so hopefully we get some news in the next half a year. I don't know. Maybe hopefully we'll know more by in the next few months what ends up happening because the writer's strike is over. So the actors it's not necessarily we're not necessarily waiting on the actors strike here.
Right.
We could get some news.
Yeah, I mean, I hope soon, probably in a few months, right?
Yeah, probably as like 24 kicks in, right? So probably like January, February.
Why can I not find who owned? It says 20th Centuries. I mean, Fox.
20th Century Fox. That's a difference, yeah. Are they who like?
That's what's on here, but I don't think that's right.
Poltergeist. You're talking about the remake, right?
No, the original.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sorry, the remake. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why I said that.
Studio.
Try typing it in this way. There we go. What do you see?
Filming and production. Oh, yeah, it's 20th Century Studio. Yeah.
It is 20th Century?
Yeah. So when had they get the rights to do it?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I was mostly looking to see, man, this was not treated very nicely. Anyway.
What, the 2015?
Yeah.
No.
My head co-host of Remake says that the clown doll in the remake is better. And if you get a chance, you go watch that video, just watch my face.
I can only imagine.
I'm like, who the
That little freaking thing. Ugh, no.
Now I did like the element in the remake where there was more things that were spooky and dolls, and that was fine. But don't you dare.
No, I love
dare.
that. Clown is so cool. And
it wasn't that doll in the original one was just a clown doll. The doll in the remake was made to be a scary clown doll. That's the difference.
Exactly. That's the
Toys
idea
from
is
that
like,
time frame are so scary.
yeah, that's the point, right? I mean, I knew this was going to turn into a poltergeist rant, but
And I forgot it was at the end. Or I would have shut up about a lot of other things. But anyway.
No, I know. Well, the whole idea is the beast knows what scares you, right? So the beast is taking mundane things that sort of play with your mind and like,
joy.
right. So it's like
It's
make
like-
a creepy clown, make a clown doll, and then make it creepy, right?
Yeah.
Take a tree and make it scary. Take a
Yeah. And Robbie's scared of everything, so like he just like leaves his sister to die. Like he's like, bye, I'm out. See ya. Good luck. Not a good brother. Anyway. Anyway, you would think after that he would be like super tough and like, nope.
No.
You get to the second movie, he's the exact same way.
Same way.
Same way.
Robbie. Can't. I know. But like, we can go on forever about this, but you know, we're definitely going to keep our eyes peeled for more poltergeist.
We'll talk about we'll probably
TV.
do the series on it when it comes out.
Oh my gosh, episode by episode, like deep dives.
They probably won't be short like the Chucky ones and the
full on deep dives. So we're gonna do some shout outs and recommendations. So mine's more of a recommendation. I just watched Dark Harvest. It's only for rent, VOD. It was like $5 and change, I think. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Totally worth it. I enjoyed it. It's by the director of oh gosh, totally blanking. Let me pull this up. Is it David Slade is his name, I think?
That's not my wheelhouse of knowledge.
Yeah, David Slade's the director. He directed Hard Candy with Elliot Page, 30 Days of Night.
Oh.
And some Black Mirror episodes, Nightmare Cinema, which is an anthology film.
It's an anthology, yeah.
He did some directing. He directed some episodes of Breaking Bad, Hannibal. He's done some good stuff. So it was I would say
I knew the Hannibal one because I remember when people were talking about it, like, oh, it's the person who did Hannibal. I was like, oh, I'm sold. But then I heard mixed things about it because it's based off a book, yeah.
This is based on a book which I've never read.
No.
But I
may
liked
have to
it.
change that. Yeah.
What?
I may have to change that. I have to read it.
I have to read it, yeah.
Because I haven't read it either.
Small Midwestern town where they have like this annual ritual of like it's kind of messed up. They like lock up all their 18-year-old boys in their bedrooms. They starve them for like 3 days, and then they have to go hunt down Sawtooth Jack, which is like almost like this pumpkin head kind of creature. It was really good. It takes place in 1963. I probably realized that from the trailer, but then kind of forgot it was going to be a period piece, and then got really into it.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot that it took place in the past. I really wanted to see it, but I thought it was coming out. It's free in some countries. Like the UK can watch it for free on Amazon. And so when people were like, I can watch this for free, I was like, yay. I was like, why is mine $6? So that's the only reason I haven't watched it yet. Because I'm like,
Yeah, but the gore was good. It had some pretty shocking moments. I liked the characters. I liked what they were kind of talking about. It really sort of, again, deconstructed this like the machismo of like this like 1960s kind of idea of what a boy should be.
Sure.
I thought the female lead, I thought she was really good in it.
Okay.
I forgot the actress's name. Emery Crutchfield.
Okay.
She was good. And then so it got some actors that I didn't realize. So Elizabeth Reeser's in it, plays the mom.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Hill House,
Yep.
Twilight.
Yep.
Jeremy Davy.
I just rewatched that.
Yeah, Luke Kirby. Casey Likes. It actually played the main character.
I don't think I know who that
Sounds
is.
familiar. Casey Likes.
Yeah, I don't think I know who that
he was
is.
in. He sounds so familiar, this dude. I don't know. But anyway, really good. Really enjoyed it.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. Mine is another book, sort of. I'm going to promote the book, but it's really about the person who wrote the book. So I just got sent a copy of a book called Bury the Child by Elsie. I think it's Marino. The Haunting of the Whispering House. A parent should never have to bury a child. Lydia and Wade Jones live a simple life with their daughter Adeline in the rural countryside of the southeastern Virginia. But when Adeline passes in a devastating accident, Lydia's life falls apart and her perception of reality is altered forever. That makes sense. Lydia and Wade struggle to rebuild their lives in the wake of the funeral. They are helplessly cast into a strange new world without their daughter. Wade knows they must learn to live again, but the challenge seems insurmountable to Lydia. Within days of the death of Adeline's death, I don't know why I'm struggling with that name. I think it's because Addie's name is Adelina. So
shoot.
keep wanting to say, okay.
It,
Sorry. Lydia witnesses unexplainable events in the home, causing her to question her sanity and her ability to keep her marriage alive. With every passing event, the tension builds, and Lydia must navigate the paranormal realities of her home without compromising her relationship with Wade. Is grief driving her insane, or is Adeline reaching beyond the grave to reunite with Lydia? Yeah, so The Haunting of the Whispering House, I guess, is going to be like a whole thing, because at the bottom it says, Bury the Child is the suspenseful introduction to the Haunting of the Whispering House series. So it's going to be a series of books. But I literally just started this today because I was consumed with Kat Valor's Revenge arc until just like a couple hours ago. I just finished it. Oh my God. It's not about her, but please do yourself a favor and read that book. So this is my next read because he sent me a copy. I was recently a guest on his show. I don't know when the episode is going to come out. It's not out yet. Called, oh my God, The Suspense is Killing Me. And it's a podcast where he talks to people in the horror community. A lot of it so far has been very author driven, but when I came on, it was to talk about horror content creating, YouTube and things like that. One of the nicest people I've ever met. You know how like you meet somebody, you interact with them, and like there's always that like, ooh, when you're going to meet somebody new on camera and you're like, I don't know how this is going to go.
Sure, yeah.
We just like we'd been friends for years. Like he's so warm and nice and comforting. And like, it was really cool to like, come on and just talk about the things that you and I do, because that's what it was about. It was about the show. And so anyway, he's such a nice guy, super supportive of the community, obviously as a podcast, literally dedicated to the horror community. He does other projects, he does other things. And then this is his, I think it's the debut book, I think. If not, it's his newest and it's out like right now, Bury the Child. So
that's
the
awesome.
book, check out the podcast. I'll give Steve the links to put when he edits the episode, to put in the description for the episode. But
I'll be down there, yeah.
And this is less than 100 pages. So it's a novella, quick read.
So it sounds good.
I've seen the reviews on it. People are eating it up. Like they're talking about like grief horror at its finest. Like people are really, really smitten with it. And to be able to accomplish a full feeling of grief in a book that's less than 100 pages, I'm super excited to get more into it. But anyway, so it seems like, you know, people are eating it up and he's great to support anyway. So LC Marino, Marino.
Handles will be down below.
Yeah.
For sure.
In the description. But yeah. So yeah. Well, that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You want to circle back to Poltergeist? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that could be a whole other hour.
Jesus, I know. Okay, well, cool. Well, I was just going to wrap up this episode of the Coffee Crypt. What do we have coming out? Let's see. Oh, I don't know. What do we have coming up?
What do we have coming up?
Tuesday is I might have the makeup video up by then. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if that's going to be. I'll maybe do that Monday. But Tuesday is going to be mine and Cat Valor's episode on Five Nights at Freddy's. It will be a deep dive into the movie and the games. It will be spoiler ridden, so feel free to avoid if you haven't. But we are both gamers. We're both big fans of Five Nights at Freddy's, and this conversation is 2 hours long. So I'm not going to cut any of it out. Sorry, you can skip through if that's too long. But it was a really great conversation. So that'll be out on Tuesday. Tom and I will have a found footage Friday. We didn't have one this past week because of just scheduling stuff. It was really difficult to get something nailed down. So he and I will have a new episode up on Friday. I don't know what we're covering yet, so because we haven't filmed it yet. So that we'll have that back. Do you got anything extra coming out this week?
So I had to record it, but then a little bit on Fall of the House of Usher.
That's right. Follow the house, yes.
And then I'm going to start rolling out my recap sort of reactions to Shining Vale. I haven't started that. I've started the show, but I haven't done. I might sort of split it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think kind of the TV recaps will sort of be coming in. Not sure what day next week. I think originally we were planning for Saturday TV recaps. But yeah, so keep an eye out for posts on that. There'll be updates on those shows.
We have another filmmaker interview, but I don't know if that's going to go up this week or maybe first of next week or maybe by the weekend. We'll see.
Maybe by the weekend, maybe next Sunday, since there won't be any Coffee Crypt.
Yeah. Gosh. And I have a backlog of influential horror I've got to get out.
Yeah. So there's a lot coming up.
As always. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, that's going to wrap this episode of Coffee Crypt. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us these rants because this was a heavy one. I had so many opinions on things on this episode. Sorry. And yeah, have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your week coming up. And Steve and I will see you in the next one.
Bye.